No, they were asking you to do it. And in the case of Christ, he was telling us, this is my body and blood, which will be for you and me. Take this and receive it, to receive me and attain heaven. By the way, continue reading it and see what it says when you do not receive him in this manner. What is up, familia? ¿Cómo están todos? So we are here on the precipice of the Holy Triduum. If you do not know what the Holy Triduum is, you are in luck. We will discuss it in this video. On top of that, we will also be discussing some more tips on prayer life and making this Holy Week as holy as possible. Since there is so much to cover, let's get started right away. And as a general courtesy, let us continue doing our part to help out with the current situation in stopping the spread of the coronavirus. Please see the CDC and WHO websites for more information from the experts. And like customary, let us take some very well needed inspiration from the gospel. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, so that everyone who believes in him might not perish, but might have eternal life. This is from John chapter 3, verse 16. Triduum by definition is a period of 3 days of prayer. Now the holy part cannot be left out when we refer to these 3 days of prayer. These are the holiest days of the entire year within the liturgical calendar. And if you do not know what liturgical year means, it basically refers to the entire year, but the liturgical year highlights the different seasons celebrated within the year, hence liturgical year. So Advent is a liturgical season. Ordinary time is a liturgical season. Christmas is a liturgical season. Christmastide is a liturgical season. And Lent is a liturgical season. Now, even though these seasons last for different time periods within the year, they are all important. So just because Christmastide is shorter than Advent, it does not mean that it is less important than Lent or Advent in that case, and vice versa. Now, coming back to the Holy Triduum, this is not to refer specifically to the passion, death, and resurrection of Christ. The Holy Triduum refers to Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday. The following days will be of significant importance. By the way, I hope you pick up on how important these days are by my constant emphasis on important is. On each one of these days, under normal conditions, we would be in church together in prayer, as the normal Mass is not concluded on any of these days. You see, when you go to Mass on any other day, the priest gives the final blessing before the Mass concludes. But starting Thursday, there is no final blessing said. The final blessing is actually given on the Easter Vigil Mass. With the current situation this year, however, we will not be able to attend church physically, but we should live stream the services for the entirety of Holy Week, and even after Holy Week ends, we should continue to live stream, as the current situation with the virus is withholding us to attend Mass. The beauty of Holy Triduum is that we see the most important parts of our faith shown in these days. So I'll give you an example. Holy Orders, which is one of the sacraments of the 7 sacraments that are given by the church, and yes, there are 7, is commemorated on Maundy Thursday along with the Holy Eucharist. You see, when Jesus was at the Last Supper, he instituted these 2 for the continuation of the gospel. The Eucharist is the body and blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. This is done at Holy Mass during the consecration of the bread and wine during transubstantiation by the priest. Because Jesus told us to do this in memory of him, he told us to do this. This is in the Bible. I mean, if someone told you to do something in memory of them, if they were gone, God forbid, I'm almost sure that they're telling you to do something specifically and not to do something metaphorically. Like, oh yeah. I think he meant I should do this, but I really won't do it because I think the thought is what counts. I mean, I thought of doing something like it, but it counts. It counts anyways. No, they were asking you to do it. And in the case of Christ, he was telling us, this is my body and blood, which will be for you and me. Take this and receive it, to receive me and attain heaven. By the way, continue reading it and see what it says when you do not receive him in this manner. You see what I mean? And in order for all of this to happen, because it was already understood that Christ would not be present forever, at least here on earth, he left his disciples in charge, and these became the leaders of his visible church on earth, with Peter at the helm. And the disciples of these disciples are the priests and bishops and the cardinals and the popes that have led the church throughout this entire time. Now, not anyone can be made into a priest or leader of people. And this is where the sacrament of holy orders comes in. Because when Jesus washes the feet of the disciples, he is showing the service that they will have to give to others to continue the mission of the gospel. And it does not matter how much or how arduous the service might be, but that the selected people will need to live the gospel in service of others. Now, I will talk more about these and some other points in the Holy Week reflection, which, if you haven't checked them out, you can check them out in the channel or check them in the links down below. Also, the cross that we might have somewhere near in our home or car or somewhere in our office, maybe. Well, that is because we remember how Christ died for all of us, crucified on a cross. These are some, but there are so many others. Purple vestments, the candles, the empty tabernacle, 3 o'clock, and so forth. Now, it does not go over my head that this year will be different. We will not be able to attend church because of the coronavirus. And with that in mind, we should live stream the services during the times given by your local parishes, or if not, by the cathedral in your archdiocese. You can do this by going on to masstime.org and literally typing your zip code or county or state. These will have information on the parishes and their websites, which will have more information for the live stream times. Each church has different schedules, so this is why it is important that we check online. And if you know your specific parish, just call them up and ask what's going on, like when are you guys live streaming. The other thing you can do to grow in faith and information is to go on formed.org. Formed is a website that has so much content with relation to the faith. Content in video format, which is my favorite. I do not like reading, by the way. If you do not know that already, I don't know how many times I've mentioned that. Now, you need to contact your parish to see if they have a code which parishioners can connect with to access this website with all its content. Another one is reading the gospel. Another thing to do for this year is to watch one of the many movies that deal with Jesus' passion, death, and resurrection. I watched The Passion of Christ, for example, and I understand that this movie might be too graphic in nature for some to view, but for me, I understand that Jesus' death was very real and torturous and really difficult to see if someone was there to witness it. And this is my personal belief. I think this rendition of the passion, death, and resurrection of Christ is really direct and poignant, and it allows me to see what my sin caused. It's difficult to explain, but I will explain in a separate video. You can choose whichever movie you want to see, but for me, this is the one I see on Good Friday. Silent prayer and praying the rosary are some other things we can also do for this Holy Triduum. Question of the week: why do you think the Holy Triduum is important? Let me know in the comment sections down below. And like I promised, some of the responses by our viewers for last week's question of the week. So last week there were 2 questions of the week, and this one that I'm going to refer to is actually to the one with the saints. The question of the week was, who are your interceding saints for Holy Week? One of the responses was, the saint for me is my namesake, Saint Anastasia. Now, obviously I was in contact with this person, and I don't know too much about Saint Anastasia, but I did some research, so thank you for that. And the other one said, my saint name, which is Guadalupe. Make sure you continue to leave your comments below, as this builds an interactive platform on which others can grow by, with me included. Obviously, I need to grow myself. Obviously, knowing appropriate comments. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hit that like button down below if this video helped out in any way, and consider subscribing to the channel to see more content like this. And also make sure you hit that bell icon to get notified when the new video drops. For this week, I will be pointing you all to the YouTube sites where you can see the services and masses during this time when we are unable to go to mass. One is Kyrie Films and the other is Spirit Juice. Make sure you go and check their YouTube channels for the masses and services. And if you know of any other YouTube channels that will be showing the masses, please put them in the comment sections down below. Continue praying for all of those directly impacted by this virus, all the people working directly and indirectly to help out during this outbreak, this pandemic, and for all of us that we continue to stay in the light of Christ. Please, please, please stay safe. Have a blessed Holy Triduum. May God reside in your hearts, and may we continue this beautiful mission of the gospel. Stay blessed, and God bless. I normally put the funny cuts here in this portion of the video, but I actually want to take this opportunity to ask you all to seriously, I know in the last part I mentioned to continue to pray, but really pray, you know, with all of us here in New York City. You know, maybe for the people who are watching this, maybe some of you know me, some of you don't know me. But this is what's going on. It's serious, man. I've heard of one too many people who have passed away due to this virus, and I'm not even kidding. While doing this video, I think I might have heard like at least 10 ambulances rush by, which I had to stop and go. So please be safe out there. You know, I'm pretty sure everybody wants to see this end, and we want to go back to some sort of normalcy, but please be safe out there. Please be safe out there. Be smart, and we will all get through this. We will definitely get through this, even if some people aren't taking this seriously. We will still get through this.